Jack Ebling here with Lindsay Huddleston from Breslin Center. It's another Press Pass preview, and Michigan State, the second time this year they've won by 53 points. Third time they've won by 48 or more. 101 to 48, more than doubling up the spread, which was 23.5, against an Eastern Michigan team that still has only lost twice.
Right. You know, Coach Rob Murphy came in and he said they're going to immediately flush this loss. It was an anomaly. You know, they're a hard-working defensive team. Couldn't buy a basket, couldn't hit the side of the water if they threw it, in. But, you learn from this, you get that. But I think the most important thing with some of Coach Izzo's remarks is about getting rest. They're going to take a 4-day break, and that's interesting because that's a coach that goes all the time. But they're talking about getting some rest right now for the holiday season.
Well, they've been going, traveling all over the place too. So, it all adds up, and you need to be fresh for the Big Ten. Still got a game with Western Michigan a week from tomorrow.
Go Broncos.
The Lindsay Huddleston game.
That's sure.
Right? And then they get ready for Big Ten play, the resumption, January 2nd here against Illinois, January 5th here against Michigan, Minnesota coming in. So in January, they start home. They need to win them all.
And you're right about that. And those sound like some tournament-ready teams when you talk about how Illinois is playing, even how they played last season against this Michigan State team. Of course, everything that's happening with, Fab 5 2.0, if you will, down in Ann Arbor with Michigan. And Minnesota is not going to lay down either.
Michigan won by 42 today, not quite 53, but Michigan State really could have named its score. Eastern Michigan is a much better team than this, and I think they'll make some noise in the MAC, but they couldn't throw it in the ocean from the boat.
They could not.
They were missing free throws like crazy. As it turned out for the game, 13 out of 30.
Wow.
They missed 17 free throws, and they only shot 23.9% from the field, so less than 1 out of every 4 shots went in. They did do a pretty good job on the offensive boards. They got a lot of loose balls, which kept this from being a 70-point loss.
Right.
But the big thing, Lindsay, whenever you play a defense like this, and Rob Murphy, a Syracuse disciple of Jim Boeheim's, adjusted that defense, made it a 3-2, and I think actually put more pressure on the ball than the Orange defense normally does. But when Michigan State lost to Syracuse in Little Caesars Arena 2 years ago, they were 8 for 37 from deep, 8 for 37, and they had some wide open looks that you would draw a play to get, and they couldn't make a shot. Today, they didn't have quite as good a looks, but they were 12 for 24 while it mattered.
It was rough. I mean, the one bright side, even though it was a huge loss, as you saw that defense mixing up. You saw them causing problems for Michigan State at the keyhole, if you will, right at the free throw line to be a little disruptive. So I guess something good can be taken from this game from both teams as far as what they do to go forward. Yeah,
but for Eastern Michigan, they don't get many chances like this. This is a game that their guys wait all year to play.
Sure.
More than a conference game.
Right.
And to come out here and be embarrassed this way, that's tough.
Well, they kind of marked it as a business trip, meaning that the financial benefit they got is going to allow Eastern Michigan to take an international trip next year. So for getting punched in the mouth, I guess you get a nice vacation a year later.
I guess if your lip is healed by that point. I don't know. But Michigan State got a lot of basketball from a lot of players, as Judd Heathcote used to say. It wasn't just the 21 points from Cassius Winston. Got 13 points from Foster Lawyer, who didn't miss a shot Wednesday at Northwestern. Looked like he wasn't going to miss one today for a long time. And then even got a 3 from Jack Hoiberg, so they got 37 points from the point guard position. That does not happen much because those guys are distributing the ball. They're trying to get everybody else in. They got 37 points on their own from the one.
Right. It's funny that you say that. Something Judd Heathcote would say is passed down in lineage because Coach Izzo talked about the benefit of playing everyone tonight and talking about how important that is. So that speaks to your point about everyone getting in, getting a touch, especially before the big break so they can have some positive things to think about, to help boost that confidence while they're going to have that time off.
Well, this was about as well as you could attack the Eastern Michigan defense, which, by the way, was allowing only 57 points a game. Nearly doubled that number tonight. But Michigan State had 27 assists, Eastern just 8. So when you're moving the ball that well, you're getting open looks, and then you got to make them, but they were making them.
But yeah, and there was something going on with the free throws. I mean, you know, they struggled so bad referring to Eastern Michigan with the free throw, and we kind of talked about this at the beginning of the game. It's almost one of those situations when it's kind of like, you know, you almost lose the game early on because you can't get that momentum. And I just didn't think that Eastern Michigan had the kind of firepower that can even bring them back in the game with high scoring to even make the game close again.
Does it look to you like they're just not good shooters, or that it was one of those nights they're just tight?
I don't know.
They saw the opponent, and
I don't know. I mean, it's clearly one of the biggest opponents they're going to face, and like you said, you know, one of those games where you mark on your calendar as a big game, and either you can get up for that game and play your absolute best and be able to compete, or it can be just what it is. Michigan State's a top-ranked team coming in, playing a MAC team that may be decent, if not great in the MAC, but not really able to compete on a Big Ten level right now.
I'm looking at Eastern Michigan for the year, 66% at the line. That is not good, but it looks really good compared to what they were tonight.
Right.
So I don't know that I've seen a team that misses 17 free throws and is competitive.
No.
You just can't do that.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, my moniker, even when I was a high school coach, is that defense wins championships and so do free throws. So you're not going to be able to compete as a team if you can't score that.
There were a couple other players I want to mention, too. And I thought Julius Marble came in tonight. He got 9 points, 5 rebounds, and he only played 8.5 minutes. So he averaged more than a point a minute. And I think he's going to be useful.
I think he's going to be very useful. He's a very efficient player, kind of like Thomas Kithier. It doesn't hurt you really, but he looks so great below the basket, around there, cleaning up things. His size is so great too, meaning he can be such a great target for the guards to get him in there, and he plays really good around the offense and defensive rebounding. I think he's going to be someone we're going to look at as a core part of this program going forward in a few seasons to come.
Michigan State, 9 block shots. That's a lot. And I think there was one stretch where Marcus Bingham blocked 3 shots without jumping. Just standing there, just looking like a big praying mantis. But Michigan State came back and wound up with a 51-41 rebound edge after being dominated on the glass in the first half. And I know that was something that Tom is, he's a coach. He's got to find something to complain about.
Yeah, and I missed the opportunity when we had him in the presser. I should have asked what was his halftime rebound speech, because it must have worked. It really got those guys locked in on doing that, especially because rebounding is such a staple of the Michigan State program.
And I think these guys know that they're going to have to play better than they have for most of this pre-conference stretch of the schedule. I would say this is Michigan State's best game of the year. True. And not because of the margin, because they were playing a team that was 9-1, potential league champion in the MAC. And it was never close. I mean, it was 11-1 right out of the chute. Eastern Michigan was 1 for 20 from the field. And during that stretch, they also missed 6 free throws and had 4 traveling calls. So they were doing everything wrong you could. And you let Michigan State get out to a lead like that. Eastern never led and trailed by as much as 57 points.
Yeah, I mean, any program, you don't want to be put in that situation, so that's something to keep in mind. So as we look at time, what do you want to talk about with our press pass coming up?
Well, we're going to have our show tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. You will be there along with Tom Crawford and Doug Warren.
Oh, cool.
And we'll talk a lot of college basketball and college football moving forward. And yes, we'll talk about the Lions-Broncos game. But we'll be looking forward here with our pre-Christmas show. And then next Friday, I will be in the Bronx. And then we'll be back after the Lions season finale against Green Bay. And so we'll be getting ready for our shows into 2020.
2020. Well, one thing we forgot to mention. Happy birthday to Jack Evelyn.
Yeah, thanks. I said 68, and I don't feel a day younger than 70. So.
You're fine.
For Lindsay Huddleston, Jack Ebling reminding you tomorrow night, Press Pass, 11 p.m. on Fox 47 WSYM, or you can stream it live, drivewithjack.com. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everyone.